Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're crushing morning miles or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
It's the SNL Hall of Fame podcast with your host, Jamie Dew. Chief Librarian Thomas Senna. And featuring Matt Ardill. And now, curator of the hall, Jamie Dew.
Thank you so much, Doug Donance. It is great to be back here in the SNL Hall of Fame. The SNL Hall of Fame podcast is a weekly affair where each episode we take a deep dive into the career of a former cast member, host, musical guest, or writer, and we add them to the ballot for your consideration. Once the nominees have been announced, we turn to you, the listener, to vote for the most deserving and help determine who will be enshrined for perpetuity in the hall. You might notice that we're all wearing tuxedos today, because it's that day. I am joined by my friends Matt Ardill and Thomas Senna. How are you fellas doing?
Yes, doing well. Got my tux fitted, ready to go.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
They all know me at Indochino now. So.
And I got a sponsor. I got my little bow tie.
Yeah.
Occasion.
This is great. I wear a bolo. You know,
yeah,
just
yeah. You're Southwesterner American at heart.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got some talking to do here, folks. We've got the class of 2004 ready to reveal to you. But before we do that, we want to go over some other results. We'll talk about who is going to be off the ballot, the pathway to people who are close but didn't quite get in. There is a big cohort of people leaving the ballot next year. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, we will announce this 5-person class of season 4. So wipe your feet and come on inside and let's do this. All right. So there's that. Where do we want to start here, fellas? Is there anybody that you want to call out that maybe didn't get in, that you have a bone to pick with the audience? I see some eyebrows going up. Thomas.
Yeah. So Dave Grohl, I think, is the one where I was really stumping for Dave Grohl hard during this process. In our roundtable episode with Bill and Brad and Mike Murray,
Right.
I was talking. All of us had Dave Grohl on our ballot at the roundtable. I think if Dave Grohl, I know Paul Simon's already in, but aside from that, moving forward, if Dave Grohl's not in the SNL Hall of Fame, then what musical guest is in the SNL Hall of Fame? You know, he has
Good
the
point.
numbers, he has the memorable moments, he's been in sketches, he's done everything and beyond that you could ask a great musical guest to do on SNL, and he received 55.4% of the vote, only up 1% since last voting cycle. So I think just people, I don't know if it's name recognition or what, but to me, it's an injustice that Dave Grohl's not in the SNL Hall of Fame. And if he's not, then what's the path for any musical guest to be in, honestly?
Yeah, I almost wonder if there's an opportunity to put the entire class of Hall of Famers on the ballot so people can see, you know, oh, Paul Simon's there. So yeah, I can let Dave Grohl slide. You know, if they are feeling that way, if they are voting that way. There's one that I, you know, sort of thought about, and I'll talk about later on in the podcast, but you know, similar type vibe. What about you, Matt?
how do you guys personally feel about Dave Grohl in the SNL Hall of Fame?
I think he belongs, like him and Justin Timberlake, both kind of sitting in the same spot. Like they're both great musical guests who've been really great comedic foils for the cast and have like really gotten involved. But just seem to be stagnating. Both around the same spot, that 53, 54, 55 range. And I mean, I think maybe it's because, like, I mean, even, you know, like Molly Shannon, you know, and Maya Rudolph, two incredible performers, also sort of sitting there stagnating because it's like, it feels like we've got quite a few really talented people and people are just like, oh yeah, I'm sure they're going to get in, and I'm going to put my vote elsewhere, kind of thing. Because it seems to they seem to be all floating around the same space.
Especially Maya. I don't know if you want to reveal Maya's results now, but like, yeah, Maya's hasn't moved but like 0.73% since in the last 3 voting cycles, which is unreal to me. Like it seems that consistently we know, I think, what voters think of Maya Rudolph.
Everybody loves her. Like it's everybody loves her.
Not 67.5% or 67.7% don't.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's just like that. Again, it's like I'd be curious, like to pull the logic of some of the folks who maybe didn't vote for her. You know, like why not? Like what is it? What went into their decision making process?
So should we add an essay?
An essay
part
question.
of the ballot, an essay question at the end of the ballot.
Please show your work underneath each question.
That would be fantastic.
With Maya in particular, I know Matt. To be truthful, I didn't vote for her on my ballot because I love Maya, but it seems like for me the results, like what was on screen on SNL, didn't quite fit the talent that I know she has. Like the output and the production doesn't fit what I know she can do. I like the idea of Maya on SNL, and I love seeing her pop up in other places, but just the quality of characters, the quality of sketches didn't quite fit for me. So just as a non-Maya voter, that's what I can tell you from my perspective.
Yeah, that's I think fair, because I mean it's not that she can't do it; it's that the work she was given didn't really hold up to what talent she brought to the table, which I think is a fair assessment.
Yeah. And I think she was in an era that was really broad as far as just comedic style. A lot of really broad, big characters. I think that was where comedy was in like the early to mid 2000s. It wasn't quite Jack Handy clever kind of stuff. Yeah. It was very a lot of gay jokes. A lot of how I term, like in that era, it was a lot of people thinking it was like the height of comedy to put on a hip hop affectation and act that way. So she just kind of was in a weird time as far as comedy in general. And I don't think she really showcased like all of her talents on SNL, honestly, whether it was she wasn't given the opportunity, she didn't write for herself as much. But I think the idea of her, for me, is better than like what the reality was on SNL.
I'm not sure where I stand, but she didn't make it on my ballot this year either. And I will tell you that next year is her last year on the ballot. So whether she gets in or not, she won't be on the ballot for season 6. So that will be interesting to see if that nudges her forward, or if we get a movement next year for somebody stumping for her, because we have seen that there have been little campaigns going on this voting cycle, and some of them sort of worked. So it's interesting.
I'd love to see her and Molly make it in, but very sound logic. Now, conversely, I 100% agree with the voters regarding Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Okay.
So, yeah,
So
like
tell
that's
us what you mean by that.
I just don't think he belongs. Like, he's got one really solid, good sketch, which is the Hulk Obama sketch.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
other than that, I literally remember nothing that he's done on that screen.
He had a few, like the Mad Scientist convention one.
Oh,
that was
very
controversial,
risky, man.
but really clever,
Very.
really funny in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
And it was almost ballsy of him to do that. He led like a Greg the Alien sketch. But I know I agree with you, man. I didn't vote for him either. And not that he's a bad host. He's 5-timer, but he just like he didn't pop like maybe other 5-timer like other people in that echelon did.
Like, he's there, he's functional, he's fine, but this isn't the Hall of Fine kind of thing. So yeah.
Well, let's reveal what he got. He checked in at 9.71, so he is officially one and done. He is under the 10% threshold, and that means that he's out of the picture going forward. So that's interesting. What about in the host category? This is the first class of Hall of Famers. I'm tipping my hand here a little bit, but the first class of Hall of Famers we have where there's not a host that has been inducted. What does that say to you guys? Does it say anything? Does it matter? What's going on with Buck Henry sitting at 48%? Candice Bergen had a really nice rebound thanks to some stumping. Wondering if you want to talk about the host category at all, fellas.
And I think that part of it is, there's so much more of a relationship with the cast that I feel people are more prone to cast a vote for a cast member than a host. Because, the hosts that have made it in so far have been some of the strongest, most notable hosts on the show in its history. So when you've got so many quality cast members to cast your vote for, it's like, do I really want to cast my vote for this person who was like good on that 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes that they've been on? Mm-hmm. Or do I want to cast this vote for this person who kept me laughing for 5, 6, 7, 8 years or longer in a few cases? So I think that might work against the hosts. They really have to over excel and overperform to make it past that barrier, I feel.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point that you bring up, Matt. I think with Buck Henry, honestly, I think it's name recognition. Maybe especially with a lot of younger voters. I think Buck Henry just, for whatever reason, a lot of them probably didn't watch Buck a lot or any of Buck Henry's hosting stints back in the original era. So I think with Buck, it was name recognition. Justin Timberlake, though, that goes against the idea of name recognition to me. So I'm a little stumped about Justin Timberlake not being on, and that's not a spoiler. Jamie said that there's no hosts on who got inducted this year. So yeah, Justin Timberlake not in the SNL Hall of Fame, but he's ran steady between 51 and 53% or so the last 3 voting cycles, which is interesting to me. But I thought for sure Timberlake would have gotten in. But I agree with you. I think people are more inclined to vote for a cast member who was in their lives for 6, 7, 8 years straight, rather than somebody who, wow, awesome, maybe just occasionally popped up once every 2 or 3 years. So Matt brings up a good point right there. Maybe there's a bias and a more of a love for cast members.
Yeah, I think so. It seems that way. Should we get to the main event then?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. We can work backwards here, fellas. The one that's not a surprise to anybody is, of course, the Don Pardo Award winner, Don Pardo.
Yes.
So he is our first member of the class of the class of season 4. And you guys did a bang up job with that episode, I thought. So I don't know if there's anything you want to add, but if there's not, I encourage everyone listening to this to go back to listen to the Don Pardo episode.
Well, I think he very much speaks to the culture of just like family in SNL, like how there's tradition and there's love for people who've been involved in it. So I'm just glad we were able to talk about him and his contributions.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great episode. I loved having Matt on as maybe like a de facto guest. We kind of did that show together, but it was really cool doing the episode with Matt to be able to celebrate Don Pardo. And I had spoken a little bit about in terms of show identity and branding. And when you think of like part of the show's branding and identity is the voice of Don Pardo. So people do Don Pardo impressions. Matt and I did a string of Don Pardo impressions to close that episode in honor of him.
It was so good.
Because people love doing Don Pardo impressions because that voice is part of the fabric, part of the identity of SNL. And to me, that's one of the main reasons why it was so fitting to name this award after him and for him to be the first inductee of the Don Pardo Award. I mean, perfect. I didn't want to put him up for a vote. Let's just slide him through. He's an SNL Hall of Famer.
So Matt, do you want to do the next one?
So next up, we have Don's replacement, Daryl Hammond. He is, amazing impersonator, incredible performer. His Sean Connery is delightful. And he's speaking to that family component. He remains a part of the cast today, taking over for Don, doing a Don impersonation to keep that voice alive and a part of the show. So yeah, I'm happy to see him there.
Yeah, he finished with 67.27% of the vote on his first ballot. He's in. So first ballot Hall of Famer. Congratulations to Daryl Hammond.
Yes, Daryl Hammond may arguably be the greatest impressionist in SNL history. I mean, that the show almost actively avoided using him in sketches because a lot of times they wanted to save him in case he had to pick up an impression, something happened in the news or something. If they wrote a famous person, a politician, into a sketch at the last minute, they wanted to save Daryl Hammond to be able to learn an impression without having to focus on playing too big of a role in other sketches. So that speaks to his ability and what the show thought of him and how vital he was to the show, that they said, this is your role. You're so good at it that we're going to spare you a lot of this other work so you can stay sharp and learn an impression at the last second. That speaks so highly to Daryl Hammond. In my opinion, top 20 cast member, 25 at least, but I have him in my top 20.
He's kind of like his era's kicker. For if it was a football team, like we need you. You're super special, so we're just gonna treat you with kid gloves.
Yeah, exactly. You may not get a lot of respect from other people, or may not be noticed throughout the game, but you might just damn well win the game for us ultimately. Yeah. And that was Daryl. Yeah, exactly, Matt.
Yeah, I think he absolutely belongs. I think he.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So, while ice skating for two is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome, with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season,
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're crushing morning miles or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Fits very nicely in the Hall. I love that linkage that you just made between him and Pardo. Going from one to the other is really tremendous. So, yeah, once again, I think that's great. Thomas, you want to take the next one?
So our next inductee in the class of Season 4, the SNL Hall of Fame. And I know a lot of hardcore SNL fans, Bill Kenny in particular, who's a frequent guest on our show, is going to be super happy about this. Jan Hooks is an SNL Hall of Famer. All of us are really happy. So the beloved Jan Hooks got in with 67.6% of the vote. Gosh, Jan, a trailblazer, somebody who popped on screen every time that she was on. Jan Hooks, well-deserved. She went from 39% in her first ballot in season 2 to 46%. Made the jump. A lot of people stumping for her. A lot of people, I think, more and more realizing how great Jan Hooks was. She was in a stacked era of the show, but she definitely fit in and oftentimes stood out. So I'm super excited. Jan Hooks, she was on my ballot, definitely. One of the top 20 or 25 or so, again, cast members in SNL history for me, if not higher. So, yeah, Jan Hooks, fellas.
I'm so happy. She was part of, we all have our My SNL cast, and she was part of that My SNL cast and that golden era for me when I was watching as a teen. And it's just it's just so great to see her get the accolades she deserves.
Yeah, I was really worried because we haven't seen somebody make that big a jump, I don't think, in the past, like to go 20 points to jump in. But it happened again as well with our next inductee, and that is somebody who as well has been stumped for. He went from 30% in the first season to 44%, to 49%, to 69.4%, and that is longtime head writer of the show, political architect of the show, really. That's James Downey. So pretty exciting to finally have him in the Hall.
Yeah, it was always so weird to me that we had a Hall of Fame and Jim Downey wasn't in it. As important as political comedy has been to SNL over the years, the architect, as you mentioned, Jamie, behind it was largely Jim Downey in a lot of cases. He was behind some of the all-timer sketches, political sketches in SNL history. And I know a lot of voters, or at least some of the ones that I talked to, made it a concerted effort to give the writers more love. So we have a writer in now, Jim Downey, well-deserved in the Mount Rushmore pantheon of SNL writers, in my opinion.
And I mean, he really helped. I mean, there was a lot of chaos in the early days, and he helped really shape the voice into something that was not just anarchy, but an actual pointed, cohesive point to the sketches and the political commentary. And I mean that consistent growth year over year, it just shows eventually people are like, oh yeah, he's an important part of this, and we need to recognize that.
I think that's what happened. It's very likely, because for him to have went up as much as he did is I can't say unprecedented because Jan Hooks did it, but
yeah,
but you get what I'm saying.
I wanted to say something else about James Downey. So I think a big complaint about the political humor on SNL, probably since Alec Baldwin started doing Trump, was that basically they just rip verbatim what happened in a hearing or in a press conference. It's almost just word for word what happened, and then turn it into a sketch. And that's not a point of view. That's not funny. It's just kind of like, this is what these people said. Okay. Jim Downey didn't do that. Jim Downey wrote political comedy with a perspective. He took what somebody said and altered it a little bit or took it to its extreme, but he never just relied on this political figure said this crazy thing and I'm going to write this crazy thing word for word as a sketch and then turn it in. That wasn't Jim Downey's style. He always had a point of view and a perspective with with this, which is something that's, it's been lacking in the last few years politically, at least with the political side of SNL for the most part.
I find, and this might make me some enemies, but I find, under Colin and Che as the co-head writers in that department, it's been very weak. Mm-hmm. It's skewed more towards the broader humor again, the absurd, which is fun. I don't have a problem with that, but it's really lost its voice. It just, when it goes for the political stuff, it's the easy, low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Consistently. And yeah, like you said, it's like we're missing that, like the sketch with Reagan where he's like puts on the doddering old man persona, and then when everybody leaves the room, he flips into this calculating monster, which is like, there used to be really good pointed political sketches, and we've lost that.
Definitely. Jim Downey was behind the Al Gore, George W. Bush debates, and Al Gore did reference a lockbox. The real Al Gore did, but Jim Downey took that idea and took it to its extreme and made it so like it was a literal lockbox that Al Gore was talking about. So he took an element of something that Al Gore really did say, and he said, how could I stretch this out into comedy?
Which is what a writer, a good writer or any writer worth their salt should be able to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got one left to announce.
Yeah, this one doesn't shock me at all. He's really in the zeitgeist right now. Jason Sudeikis. Everybody loves Jason. Everybody loves everything he does. Don't know if it's that like Midwest charm, that just very like, oh, shucks, I'm a nice guy attitude, but 81.65% of the vote out of the gate. Ted Lasso would call that a win. But yeah, I mean, I love Jason. I love everything he does. I went to Chicago and I was like checking out all the old haunts that he would have been going to, and checking out IO and Second City. So he's very much a part of the broader culture right now, probably more so than any cast member has ever been. But I think that's because he's an earnest, hardworking comedian and comedic actor, and he really dedicates himself to his work. And it's great to see him rewarded for it.
Yeah, he's pretty wonderful. We saw it like from the beginning, like you could see it almost fully formed from the beginning. He's got a swagger, but he's not arrogant or cocky. He's just confident, and we saw it really manifest itself in that sketch when he hosted, was it last season or the season before, with Ego, and they were in the classroom. And he was basically cucking poor Kyle Mooney. Yeah. Yeah, it was just tremendous acting. It was so subtle, and like we saw it at the beginning, but he's come so far.
Yeah, going into season 4, we did the draft. So me and Matt and John Schneider drafted the season 4 nominees, and when we were looking at our lineup, I think probably we all thought Jason Sudeikis would be the headliner of season 4. I know I did. I looked and said, who's the headliner? I was like, I think Jason Sudeikis is. He ended up being our last episode. Bill Kenny and I did that, so he was our last nominee that we talked about. And it looks like it was correct. Jason Sudeikis was our headliner for season 4, received the most votes, highest percentage of votes. In my book, he's a top 10 cast member. I have number 10. I've been doing my list because our buddies over at the SNN have been doing their cast member countdown, so I did have to do my list as well. And I have Jason Sudeikis number 10. Too. Yeah, number 10 all time. So that's like a slam dunk first ballot type of Hall of Famer in my book, and the voters agree. To me, this was a no-brainer. Super happy for Jason, well deserved. Just have nothing but great things to say about Jason Sudeikis. Let's talk about people who maybe were on their first ballot, or we see like an upward trajectory into getting voted into the Hall. And I know one who was a first timer on the ballot this year who received over 50% of the vote, Fred Armisen.
Yes.
So it seems like Fred already with over 50% of the vote. And if history's any indication, he's at some point probably going to get into the SNL Hall of Fame. Maybe not next voting cycle in season 5, but probably the one after that. Of course, I would have said the same about Maya Rudolph, who honestly I kind of compare Fred and Maya in a lot of different ways as far as like era and talent, and maybe they didn't, their output on screen didn't match how people looked at them. I don't know. A lot of similarities between Maya and Fred, but I think Fred probably has a path to getting in. 51.8% of the vote on his first time on the ballot this time around. What do you guys think about Fred, or is there anybody else who has the trajectory who you see getting in someday?
Fred, definitely, and I mean, everybody loves Fred, and he's coming out of the gate strong. So I think it's just with big names like Daryl and Jason on to go up against. It's just there's only so many votes to cast. But yeah, I definitely see him making it in next season or the season after. I think Chris Parnell, though, first season on the ballot, 32%. I think he'll get there too before his time runs out, his chances, because he's another one of those people who's well loved and is kind of ever present for a very long period of time, has some great moments. What works against him, I think, might be the fact that he's much a supportive player in a lot of sketches.
Right.
So I could see it going both ways. I am a fan of those supporting players.
Yeah.
Because they do the heavy lifting a lot of the times and let others shine. So it's like that teamwork component. I blame my time on doing improv at Second City for that. Like, I'll be the guy who's like, oh yeah, hey, in the background. But
no, that guy is crucial though. Dave Buckman made a great case for Chris Parnell, which I happen to agree with, honestly. And I don't think I voted for Chris, but that's just because there were so many people who I wanted to vote for. But I can see myself voting for Chris next time, with no hesitation. Yeah, honestly, I think he's an SNL Hall of Fame type of cast member.
Yeah, and I mean, like, first year, plenty of room. Vanessa Bayer is another one. Like, we'll get there.
Yeah. I was going to ask about Vanessa because she's one of my all-time. I would say Phil Hartman, Vanessa Bayer, and Will Forte are my personal 3 favorite cast members of all time. Yeah. And Vanessa Bayer getting 33%. That's, as a Vanessa Bayer super fan, that's a little higher than I expected. Honestly, like, I was pleased that Vanessa got basically a third of the vote. Like, what do you, JD, Matt, like, specifically with Vanessa, like, does that surprise you? Am I crazy and like loving her as much as I do? Like, what do you think of Vanessa on the ballot?
I think, I don't think you're crazy at all. Like, she's another one of those people who, like, will just lean into silly. Like, is beloved by pretty much everybody. Has like a sketch or a character. Like, my wife's like, oh, when she does that Weekend Update bit where she's the kid reading from the Torah and doing the bar mitzvah. I love that. So everybody has a little moment of her that they love and cherish if they watch during her era. So, I mean, strong start. And yeah, I think she'll get there too. Like, she like Chris, or it's just a matter of when, not if.
I'm not willing to say that she'll get in until I see her next set of numbers, because there's some curious stuff that happened. Like, I look at Mulaney. Mulaney went from 43 to 27 back to 41. So, is there a chance that Parnell or Bayer, sort of yo-yo? I don't know. But both are good numbers to start with. And to answer your question directly, Thomas, they both do surprise me. Like, I thought probably in or around the 20% range. Mm-hmm. But the one that excites me the most that I look at the list, and that's Buck Henry. And he's still relatively new on the ballot. He was 23% last year, which was a disappointment, but that's followed up by a 48% this year. Mm-hmm. So if he, does another super jump next year, he's in. And I think that he's the type of person that people can rally around, like, when they were rallying around Tim Raines to get him into the Baseball Hall of Fame,
Mm-hmm. No,
definitely belongs.
Definitely. He belongs, and I definitely see that. Like, just because I'm so in the weeds with this stuff that 48% still seems low to me. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, you're right. To put some perspective on it, there is a positive trend with Buck Henry. So that's like a nice positive spin on it there, Jamie.
And I mean, he's not as fresh to the mind of a lot of the people who have made it in so, I mean, he's had good, strong support, great episodes discussing his contributions. So, I think he'll make it.
Yeah, I do too. Should be interesting though. Well, is there anything else that you guys want to dig into in this list? We'll publish it fully on our socials so you can peruse it. If there's anybody specific we didn't mention, you can check them out. That's what we have for you this week. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I sure did, hanging out with my friends Thomas and Matt. On behalf of Thomas and Matt, I want to thank you very much. And if you would please do us a favor, and on your way out, there's a light switch on the wall past the Weekend Update exhibit. Turn it off, because the SNL Hall of Fame is now closed.
Thanks for listening to the SNL Hall of Fame podcast. Make sure to rate, review, share, and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media at SNLHOF. This is Doug Denant saying, see you next week.
Gamers and watch lovers, stay frosty. We've got some covert intel ready. Movement, the official timekeeper of the highly anticipated Call of Duty Black Ops 6, is set to release a special edition Black Ops 6 watch and accessory collaboration. Shop the designs seen in and inspired by the game. From the same military-style field watch that Troy Marshall wears inside the campaign, to aviator sunglasses pulled from CIA operative Russell Adler's in-game look. This collaboration brings the aesthetics of the new Black Ops 6 story straight to your wrist and wardrobe. It even arrives with custom packaging and a free gift with your purchase. A Movement and Call of Duty Black Ops 6 bottle opener keychain. According to the Wall Street Journal, Movement is on the path to becoming a heritage brand, while Gear Patrol hails their automatic watches as mechanical masterpieces. Own a piece of gaming history. Shop the exclusive special edition collaboration at mvmt.com/bo6. That's mvmt.com/bo6.
Holiday magic is in the air at iFly Indoor Skydiving. Imagine unwrapping the experience of flight. iFly is the perfect unique gift for anyone who wants to turn their dream of flying into a joyful reality. It's unforgettable fun for all ages. Save over 35% with iFly's limited-time holiday gift voucher flight packages. Turn dreams into unforgettable moments with the gift of flight. Go to iFlyWorld.com to purchase your holiday gift vouchers. That's iFlyWorld.com.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're grinding out bicep curls or muscling the couch across the living room, crushing morning miles, or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, Smoothie King has fuel to help you maximize your workouts, own your recovery, and elevate your game. Give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs with a lineup of delicious smoothies made to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.